Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. XRP right now trading at 37.6. We're seeing a bit of a retracement now after a couple of days of positive momentum, not just for XRP. This is happening throughout the crypto space. If I bring up the crypto market cap page here, right now you can see market cap hovering at around 800 billion. Thank you, SBF and FTX. We've got Bitcoin dominance around 38.3%. So Bitcoin dominance still holding relative to altcoins. And within the last 24 hours, we are seeing the market down just by a little bit. So it's looking as though the selling pressure has diminished in volume. You can see over the last couple of days, at least on the XRP chart, we did see some tall volume bars here, followed by, today's volume bar. Today's just started. A short red volume bar. We are seeing a bit of a sell-off now. Let's not forget, if you did buy down in here, you would still be up 17% on your investment. So we've got the day traders hashing it out right now. Overall, though, guys, it's going to be a lot of noise, and I have a feeling we are going to continue to see this kind of just sloshing around in this zone here. Let's not forget how long XRP was sloshing around in this zone here in the summer. At the end of May, we did see that downturn in the market, and then basically sideways momentum. Nothing really interesting. XRP was trading anywhere between 30 and 40 cents at this point in time. Then we saw that burst up. Then the FTX news just brought it right back down. I gotta say, though, I am pretty surprised. This is the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin right now trading at 16,600. And usually what happens with XRP is that it doesn't fare as well as not only other cryptocurrencies, other altcoins, but also doesn't fare as well as Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually under this low point that we saw back on June the 18th. So Bitcoin's actually trading about 5%, at least at the time of this recording, about 5% under that low point back in June. Okay, that's essentially the marking point, at least that I'm using today on this chart, where the markets really did bottom after that first really big collapse. Let me get rid of some of this on here. And let me just bring that up there so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. June the 18th. Again, this is the XRP chart. And Bitcoin's trading 5% below this mark, whereas other cryptocurrencies like XRP are actually still trading about 31% above this mark. So some altcoins still doing fairly well. Let's bring up Ethereum just to kind of get a sense of what some other altcoins are doing here. So June the 18th, which would be right here, you can see that bottom there. Ethereum's actually trading up as well, about 38%. BNB coin, just kind of off the top of my head, just taking a few in the top 10. BNB coin, June the 18th, it's trading up about 48%. What about Cardano, ADA? Bringing up the Cardano price here, and Cardano's actually trading down as well. So Cardano in the same boat as Bitcoin, at least price-wise, down 13% since this low. So some coins faring better than others. I mean, this is a dark days, guys. It might be a while before we see that rebound, but it is a good opportunity to purchase more cryptocurrency if you guys are still sitting on a heap of fiat on the sidelines. For example, just bringing XRP back here on the chart and taking a look at where we are off that inter-year high that we saw back in April of 2021. We are down about 81%. And XRP isn't even the best fire sale right now. If you bring up coins like Algorand, let's see where Algorand is right now. So some of the WEF coins that I've been eyeing, some coins that I've actually purchased into over the last year. Algorand here, the top was November 18th, 21. And you guys can see Algorand is down 90% right now. Let's take a look at VeChain. VeChain, another one of those cryptocurrencies, not a WEF coin, but a lot of partnerships in China specifically. From that top here, we saw that top back in April of 21. And right now we're seeing VeChain even trading 92.8%, so almost 93% to the downside. What about HBAR, guys? I've been getting really interested in HBAR as of late. I know some in the XRP community are also invested in this particular coin. If I do deploy more capital, I am eyeing this particular coin here. We've got HBAR down about 91.7%, so another great deal here. So it's looking as though XRP, not even the best sale you can get at this moment in time. However, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm thinking right now. And I will let you know if I do deploy more capital into the market. I'm going to give it some time. I want to see how that trend plays out over the next few weeks. The other thing I wanted to mention in a video I did yesterday, where did session 18 go, Gary Gensler? If you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Apparently, MIT did delete lecture number 18 of Gary Gensler's MIT course. Well, I got a lot of interesting comments over there on Twitter. I had some people emailing me, some people posting in the comments section of the video. Apparently, here's some of the information from that lecture. Now, this was sent courtesy of Mike, one of my viewers. He actually emailed me, sent me a few links. And in his emails, he was telling me Lecture 18 has disappeared from the MIT Course Index website, not just on YouTube. So yesterday I was talking about how they actually deleted it from YouTube, but also on their webpage. He followed up by sending me the course notes. And if you guys do take a look at this page, I will link it in the description of the video. These are some outline bullet points of what that course, that particular lecture was about. Biggest thing to pay attention to: blockchain, cryptocurrency, distributed ledger technology, and payments. So very specific to the kinds of things we talk about on this channel, but you guys can see it here. There are several bullet points, and again, I will link this in the description of the video. One of the other things that they were talking about was ICE. Also, if you guys remember around that time, that's when Bakkt was going online. One of the first, I think the first institutional grade cryptocurrency trading platform in the United States. And we were all kind of really hoping that Bakkt would change the landscape, but I mean, it was a bit of a dud, kind of coming in too soon. But I'm sure now they're really thriving. Anyway, here are some of the notes. I just wanted to thank Mike for posting that. I wanted to keep moving, guys, because 6 XRP holders have now formally filed their amicus briefs in opposition to the SEC's motion for summary judgment. This brought to us by James K. Filan, just retweeting out John Deaton's tweet here from Crypto Law US. So those have now officially been filed. And Sherry here, Cherry Empress 21, wanted to give her 2 cents on a potential settlement. I know we've been getting a lot of misinformation, unfortunately, from Fox Business, suggesting that a Ripple settlement was going to happen yesterday. As we know, that was not true. But here's what she said. Okay, let's start by keeping things simple, shall we? SEC believes XRP to be a security. Ripple does not. What would a settlement look like that would have both parties walking away relatively happy? And this is usually how settlements work, right? Neither party gets exactly 100% what they want. Nailing Ripple for early sales of the XRP token and moving forward in saying that XRP is not a security. This way, Ripple pays a fine and Hinman documents remain under wraps for a bit longer. On the surface, this makes a ton of sense, but the bigger picture, heck no. So what Sherry here is insinuating is that the SEC is going to push for XRP to be a security, and I think this is why they're taking so long. I think this is why they're really being a pain in court. Because Ripple is just not conceding on that point. I would argue that by allowing the settlement to look like this, a precedent takes shape. And so she's saying, you know, this could mean, I mean, okay, we know this is a landmark case for cryptocurrency in the United States, and the SEC knows that as well. This means that every digital currency that ever held an ICO is out of reach of the SEC, and of course, the SEC does not want that. One thing we do know, Gensler believes crypto regulations belong with the SEC. How many projects are there in the space that never held an ICO? What about ICOs held outside the United States and only had their tokens sold within secondary markets? Very good question. My position, she says, it doesn't make sense for the SEC to agree that secondary market sales can constitute as currency sales because it sets a precedent for other tokens without ICOs. So in that case, would Gensler really want a settlement? An interesting observation here from Cherry Empress 21 on Twitter. I mean, absolutely, the SEC cannot misstep with this because they are going to set precedent, and once that is filed and sealed in the courts, it could set precedent for other cases moving forward. So, you know, this is why this is being dragged out. It's unfortunate that XRP holders have to be, dragged through this as we have been over the last almost 2 years. You know, it's funny, my wife was saying, so is the settlement done yet? Is the lawsuit done? I go, no. She's like, oh, it's going to take forever, isn't it? I go, no, we're actually we're getting near the end of it. And then she's like, yeah, but you know, it's been taking forever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it really has felt like it has taken a long time. It is almost 2 years, guys, 2 years next month since they announced the lawsuit. Anyway, wanted to thank Cherry, wanted to keep moving though. Ripple enabling better treasury and NFT experiences with Super Mojo and Liquidity Hub. So get this, Liquidity Hub, originally meant for cross-border payments for, transferring value via currency. Well, now they're looking to leverage the Liquidity Hub for NFTs. They talk about NFTs here, and this is, by the way, this is from Ripple's official blog. But they say by 2028, the NFT market size is expected to reach $97.6 billion, according to an analysis. To address this growing category, Super Mojo, a checkout and financing platform designed to make digital assets and NFTs more accessible for users, is the latest company to utilize Ripple's Liquidity Hub platform. So, Big news here because this is going to add an extreme amount of value to the XRP token. Okay, considering, they're going to be using the Liquidity Hub for this NFT market that is supposed to grow exponentially by 2028. And this is why, it's funny, back in 2018, when we were talking about all the use cases and all the money and XRP is going to move all the money, it's going to be billions and trillions of dollars, we had no concept of how big other markets are going to get. And so this is just one example of that. I think at one point in time in the past, David Schwartz did say there's going to be a lot of utility running through XRP, but we certainly can't even fathom, our brains cannot even comprehend the types of use cases that we're going to be able to see in the future. And I don't think in 2018 we would have imagined that NFTs were going to be so big and that this was going to be one of the bigger use cases. So they talk about the Liquidity Hub being better for the customer. Although NFT marketplaces and storefronts have become more popular, they have yet to offer the payment methods most people are familiar with when buying online. Buy now, pay later experiences like Super Mojo are critical to providing a more seamless, intuitive, and accessible NFT purchasing, financing, and custody experience for both crypto natives and novices alike. And so debuted last year, Liquidity Hub draws on Ripple's years of experience sourcing liquidity on demand for its users for cross-border payment solutions. So they talk a little bit about Liquidity Hub here, obviously leveraging the power of XRP to do so. But there you guys have it. NFTs likely going to get so big that they are going to tap into Ripple's Liquidity Hub. I thought that was great news. I also saw this, guys, from the Wrath of Kahneman. Ripple investor SBI Holdings has created a joint venture with Jungle X, not Jungle Inc., Jungle X, all right? And this is in Japanese, so let me just translate that real quickly. SBI Holdings and Yoshitaka Kitao, herein referred to as SBI Holdings, has announced that Jungle X Co. and SBI have entered into a basic agreement on a capital and business alliance. I will let you know when I do. Okay, this is the translation from Japanese, so it might not be perfect. The joint venture company will be established within this year as a 50-50 joint venture between SBI and Jungle X, and initially plans to develop business mainly in the East Asian region, including Japan. Jungle X has obtained the following patents outlined in Japan based on blockchain technology: a business model patent related to the sports league that allows sports fans to support teams and athletes, and even influence the development of the game. Characters generated by multiple users linked to real people business model patent relating to breeding type battle game played after holding data. Okay, again, the translation, I do apologize for that, but it does sound like it has to do with some kind of sports related venture built on the blockchain. I don't know if it's sports betting or something different. Jungle X, though, does have its own asset that it does distribute, but of course, we do know SBI Holdings is a big investor in Ripple. So if they do decide to put this on the blockchain, and even if Jungle X does leverage their token specifically, it might in fact be necessary for them to exchange some of this value through the XRP token. Nothing is listed there to suggest that. Nevertheless, just another project here built in, or is rather being built in the metaverse, having to do with NFTs. And we know, since Ripple has been moving towards NFTs, it sounds like this could be the case. Anyway, wanted to thank Jungle Inc. Not Jungle Inc. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. Mike Manfield here also bringing this to our attention. Ripple partner Santander goes live with Planixs. Planixs is a leading provider of real-time cash, collateral, and liquidity management solutions, and they've announced that the GSIB, or Global Systemically Important Bank, Santander, has successfully gone live with its Reality software suite to transform the bank's liquidity management processes, including cash management, liquidity forecasting, and risk mitigation. So guys, this all going through a new system. Santander, of course, a Ripple-enabled bank. They opted for Planixs' intraday liquidity management, funding and forecasting, and intraday reconciliation modules to improve its processes and digitally transform its treasury operations. The modules selected will allow Santander to achieve its goals of obtaining real-time insight into liquidity positions and detailed analytics and forecasts of end-of-day projections for all accounts. The platform will also allow banks to proactively manage payment flows and optimize liquidity buffers, whilst also automating processes to mitigate the risks and overheads associated with time-consuming, laborious manual tasks. So this partnership, particularly sounding like another streamlined approach to essentially make things efficient, effective, likely going to be happening on the blockchain. In this particular case, these companies deal with liquidity management. So, I mean, all these blockchains are going to interoperate with one another. And so now we're seeing another Ripple partner, Santander, partnering up with Planixs. Wanted to thank Mike for posting that. I also saw this guy's from T-Hole-Betic XRP. Tranglo launches in Malaysia now via a company called BITRUE Now. And this is the article from Finextra. Tranglo is excited to announce the launch of real-time cross-border payments to Malaysia in line with the global fintech's midterm plans to modernize its processes in the region. And so with this announcement, Tranglo, we know, of course, a Ripple partner, now performs more than 80% of its cross-border payments in real time. So that is thanks to the XRP ledger and RippleNet technology. It comes as Malaysia is seeing extraordinary growth in real-time transactions. According to the country's central payment network, PayNet, its real-time payment platform, BITRUE Now, has processed over 2 billion transactions in the last 3 years, representing a growth of more than 800%. And so real-time transactions in Malaysia are expected to reach 7 billion in volume by the year 2025. The beer flu pandemic really has accelerated this, hasn't it? Everywhere around the world now, it's seeming like real-time payments, touchless payments, online payments, mobile payments have all exploded. Gone are the days where we need a physical or the physical capability for a transaction. And these companies, these fintech companies, are acknowledging this and they are jumping. This is why we're seeing, the secondary, tertiary partnerships, these Ripple partners really expanding because, especially if they integrated with RippleNet before the pandemic, they were already kind of pandemic ready, I guess you can put in quotes. Not that they knew a pandemic was coming, or who knows, maybe they did. Nevertheless, we're seeing cross-border payments really accelerate. A lot of these companies now running on RippleNet, and since a lot of these companies are not in the United States, they are able to actually leverage XRP for real-world utility. So some more great news from Ripple partner Tranglo. The other thing T-Hole-Betic mentions here, it ties in nicely to the regional cross-border payment system being implemented in Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. So here's just another, just a snapshot from the article that I just read to you, and also BITRUE Now that they've processed over 2 billion transactions in the last 3 years, and I mentioned that. Also this, so central banks of Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand seal cooperation in regional payment connectivity. Taking a look at this article from September of 21, Singapore's Pay Now and Malaysia's BITRUE Now to link in 2022. So another connection here, likely extending the RippleNet connection because we also know the Monetary Authority of Singapore is also a Ripple partner. So some great sleuthing. Wanted to thank T-Hole-Betic for posting that. And so haven't you always wanted a mechanism to predict where the price is going? Apparently, guys, Japanese scientists have now created a paper, a novel method of correlation, the Tensor Spectra method for the dynamical XRP networks, which can provide an early indication for XRP price. Now, before you get too excited, this is just a projected analysis of what could happen. And quite frankly, this paper is very, very dense with a lot of different mathematical equations that are way beyond me. I want to try to give you guys the gist of it because, yes, this exists, okay? Crypto assets are becoming essential in the digital economy era. XRP is one of the largest market cap crypto assets. Here we develop a novel method of correlation tensor spectra for the dynamical XRP networks, which can provide an early indication for XRP price. So these guys are saying they can predict price bursts before they occur. A weighted directed weekly transaction network among XRP wallets is constructed by aggregating all transactions for the week. So they take a look at the week's transactions. A vector for each node is then obtained by embedding the weekly network in continuous vector space. So by taking the weekly numbers, it looks like they take a specific vector and analyze that. From a set of weekly snapshots of node vectors, we construct a correlation tensor. So then they correlate that and they aggregate the data. A double singular value decomposition of the correlation tensors gives its singular value. So then they process those numbers, those values, and those trends that they've seen historically, and they spit out, I guess, what they think will be a surge or a decline in price. The significance of the singular values is showed by comparing with its randomized counterpart. The evolution of singular values shows a distinctive behavior. The largest singular value shows a significant negative correlation with XRP to USD price. We observe the minimum of the largest singular values at the XRP USD price peak during the first week of January 2018. And so bringing this back up here, the XRP chart on the daily, let me remove that and let me bring it back to January of 2018, which we know was when XRP did see its all-time high. So, of course, this was a significant price burst at this period in time that we all know and some of us remember. Then they go on to say the minimum of the largest singular value during January 2018 is explained by the decomposing the regular tensor in the singular and noise components, and also by evolution of community structures. So this is where it starts to get beyond me, guys. I do apologize, but I will link this in the description if some of you guys are maybe students of mathematics and do understand these trends. It would be cool, though, if they could, create some sort of end retail user facing program that could actually let us know when we could see spikes. Of course, that could be dangerous. Let me just read you guys the conclusion to this piece. In this work, we have used all the direct transactions between XRP wallets in a week to construct a weekly weighted directed network. Using the deep walk method, we have embedded weekly snapshots of the network in vector space. So it's basically, it sounds to me like it's aggregating data, understanding a whole bunch of, likely a whole bunch of indicators, chart patterns and indicators on chart patterns, and, taking that data, taking all those random points, and then, processing them to potentially predict another move up. Deep walk encodes community information into nodal vectors using truncated random walks on the network. One can explore other methods of embedding, such as node2vec, to study the regularities of the network. From the weekly snapshots of the regular nodal vector components, we calculate the correlation tensor at different time periods. We have used double SVD to remove redundant information from the correlation tensor. So just kind of giving us the brief synopsis of how they are going about this. Of course, this paper not written for you and I, but likely written for a peer to review. The significance of our results is showing by comparing it with the results of a randomized counterpart. The evolution of the largest singular value, or P 1/1, shows distinctive behavior, and it correlates significantly with the XRP to USD price. So it does in fact sound like they are making headway on this, because they are finding a correlation to the price based on the tests that they've run. The decomposition of the correlation tensor into signal and noise components show that correlation in the signal component decreases significantly during the bubble period. We explain this decrease in the correlation during the bubble period by the evolution of community structure that shows disruptive behavior during the bubble period. The disruptive behavior of community structure has also been observed in the foreign exchange market during economic downturns. So not just with XRP price, but also using this to observe specific price swings in other foreign markets. In summary, we have developed a method of correlation, tensor spectra from XRP transactions specifically. This method provides crucial insight into the bubble period of the XRP price. This method is very general and can be used to analyze the transactions of other assets as well. But it is interesting that they chose XRP. Of course, again, this is a Japanese company, Japanese scientists looking into this. And we know XRP is a very popular cryptocurrency in Japan. So the math, the technology, this analysis, it certainly does exist. I wonder if we are going to see a forward-facing retail side price predictor that will predict potential bursts in XRP price. Would love to get my hands on that. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.